Hello guys, what is up? CrazyJoe901 here, and I just got back from seeing World War Z. Now, I have seen a lot of zombie films in my time. I'm not going to list them all because simply it would take too long. I've also played a lot of zombie games, so I think I am pretty up to date on zombie culture as a whole. And I am never going to look at zombie films in the same way again. To be frank, it was absolutely brilliant. I loved the film. It was great. I'm going to tell you a few things what I liked about it, and then I'm going to tell you what I didn't like about it, and then you can make your decision on if you want to go see it, or if you simply would buy it as a DVD, or if you wouldn't buy it at all. Okay, first things first, and simplest things first as well. In the movie, the protagonists called the zombies zombies. Why sugarcoat it with another word? Why? It's simple. They bite people, which turns them into other zombies. They don't call them walkers. They don't call them infected. They don't call them, oh, God, I don't know. I can't think of any other names. But, that's what I liked. They were playing with it. The media just dresses it up. But actually, no, let's admit it, they are zombies. So that was a relief, to be honest, because I hated it in other movies and stuff where they just sort of said, oh, no, they're people that walk around eating people. No, they're zombies. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing which I liked about it, it really made me think, because let's admit it, if you were carrying a gun, you would feel quite powerful, right? You'd feel sort of in control. Well, these guys were flying around in helicopters, and they weren't in control. They had these big machine guns, and they still weren't in control. The outbreak still managed to make a huge impact on human civilization. No matter what the humans did, the zombies just kept crawling back, and that brought out the severe humanity of human nature, right? That brought out, desperation and determination. Even though that's not clear, because Brad Pitt, yeah, it's clear he loves his family, but they're not that involved in the film. It's not like they sort of risked their life for him or anything, so... But even so, he does it to secure the safety and future of his family. So he goes all around the world trying to find out if the zombie, why has the zombie apocalypse arrived? What is the cause? Where is the origin? So we see him go to South Korea, Israel, and other places like that. So he went around the globe looking for these different sort of clues to help him understand the apocalypse and to help him fight it. Okay? So it's kind of different from other sort of zombie films. In other zombie films, it's just simply, no, I'm the main person and I'm going to survive, right? But, this one looked at it in a greater perspective. It actually looked really sort of realistic. It's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe the government would actually do this. Sure, there were some things which were unrealistic. For example, every time Brad Pitt, lost hope in one place, it'd go to another. And boom, there's an airplane that hasn't taken off yet, and yeah, I'll go on that. Or, oh, there's a car there with a door open that's quite robust, and that could kill a few people if I ran them over. So, things like that made it a bit sort of implausible. I can't even think of the right word. But the thing that really won it over for me, as I said, was that sheer determination that was brought out. And it wasn't all sugar-coated. It was a 15, but, there was enough... There was no sort of emotions in there. It's hard to explain, but, there wasn't this sort of massive romantic scene between Brad Pitt and his wife. It was literally, okay, bye, dear, I've got to go secure, your future, so I'm going to go kill a few zombies. And, this chick gets a bit in hand, right? And Brad Pitt's like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. He literally doesn't do that, okay? He literally just cuts her hand off, straight there. That's what I like, because that would be what would actually happen. If I was worried this person was going to turn infected and bite my head off, I think I would probably cut her hand off to stop her becoming infected. I'm not the most aggressive person in the world, but I think that's what I would do. So that kind of gave it a realism sort of aspect to the film. I'm trying to sort of expand on this review without sort of spoiling the plot line for you, basically. But I've also read the book World War Z. Oh, I actually read it a couple of days ago, because I wanted to read it before I went and saw the film, so it's fresh in my mind. and I can see why people were saying it deviated a lot from the film. I mean, in the book, it was a lot of different, well, you could say diary entries or flashbacks, I suppose, from different people in different places. And in a movie, that concept, I mean, the amount of people and places were in the book, that wouldn't really work. It would just be sort of 10 minutes one place, 10 minutes another, 10 minutes another place. Different people, it would be hard to follow, and frankly, 10 minutes or even 20 minutes isn't enough time to sort of grasp a situation or grasp a single character and their emotions. So, frankly, I think, the World War Z, the movie, I mean, yes, it is based on the novel, but if you are a big fan of the book, which I am, I still loved the movie. I mean, I'm sure there are a few of you that sort of went into the movie cinema and then thought, well, that was shit. That wasn't anything like the book. I think the idea is it's not meant to be. Max Brooks simply thought, you know what, my book's a bestseller. I want a movie of it. So that's where I think it was headed. Sorry. Another thing which I liked is that it sort of grasped like aspects from different films. Because some movies, they sort of look at the cause of the outbreak, others sort of the aftermath of the outbreak and just people surviving. Others, just in the middle, and there are different sort of goals. I mean, trying to think of one, for example. You got Dawn of the Dead, for example, where they sort of held up in that mall, and they were like, no, we've got to get out of here, and they did that. But in World War Z, they had different sort of targets, if you know what I mean. So like in one location, they were like, no, we need to get you to safety. In another, they were like, okay, I need to go find this out. And another place, they were like, right, we've got to go down here and get something. So, it kind of gave you different aspects. So it was like Brad Pitt was playing like stories from different people, but it was still him. It's kind of a hard concept to explain, but it worked. It was brilliant. Another thing which I loved was, in these other films, the zombies were walkers. They sort of walked really slowly. And unless they were sort of on you in large numbers, I couldn't imagine that would be that intimidating, just because I'm like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of you, but I can run 100 meters down the road and you'll never find me, right? I mean, that's what I liked about I Am Legend, because, well, they're not really zombies in that, but they are sort of mutants. They were seriously strong. They were seriously fast. It gave you a large amount of intimidation. And that's what it was like in this. I mean, not only were the zombies fast, but there was hundreds of them, thousands of them, millions of them. Entire cities had turned into zombies. So it was like, okay, yeah, I've got a huge 50 caliber machine gun, but wait, what, one gun against like a million zombies? Yeah, you're pretty much screwed. You're not going to be able to do it. And at the beginning of the film, it sort of showed you clips, I suppose, from nature programs, of a bunch of ants or other insects sort of swarming a larger animal. And that's obviously meant to be a representation of the zombie apocalypse, as the zombies would all be swarming around humanity, which would be the larger animal, right? So even though we may be stronger together, when there's a large amount of zombies, let's admit it, you're not going to be able to survive if there's only 10 or 20 of you. So it was sort of that doomed element, but also that, okay, if we work together and we find the cure or find the cause of the outbreak, we can survive. So yeah, I'm trying to think what I actually didn't like about the movie. It was a little bit slow in places. I mean, in a few zombie movies, Resident Evil Apocalypse, for example, Mila Jovovich, and I can't remember the other actress's name, but they are constantly fighting, sort of like 10-minute walk, 10-minute fight, 10-minute walk, 10-minute fight, 10-minute walk, 10-minute fight, and so on. In this, I felt that there were large portions of talking compared to smaller portions of fighting. But I'm quite an action junkie. I like it when there's a lot of fighting. But in a film where they needed to explain the plot line, it actually worked. I mean, I could have done with just having one action scene in this movie. It was brilliant. I was hooked onto every word with all the, the finding out about the apocalypse. So it hooked me. Okay, here's another thing that I liked. Sorry, I can't really think of many disadvantages with this film, but another thing. I mean, I've played the Dead Space games, not so much the third one, but the first and second one, which I've heard are the sort of scariest and, well, not scariest, but on the edge of your seat and things like that. And I've gone to Dead Island with like just bare fists and not hidden, and gone into like a really dark building with hundreds of zombies around me. So I'm quite used to that sort of heartbeat, like you know, just pounding in your head, and it's really intense. And that's what this film did. I mean, they were walking in one scene, well, not scene, it was more like 10-20 minutes. They were walking down a corridor, and the zombies are really attracted to sound, so you had to be really quiet. And I have to say, I mean, every time I go to the cinema, there's always some dickhead talking in the background, or there's a group of fucking idiots that just think, oh yeah, let's shout at the top of our voices. When we saw this, I literally felt like I was the only one in the cinema. It was so quiet, which gave me the idea, yeah, these guys enjoy it, and they're in the moment. So them walking down this dark corridor, and when Brad Pitt kicks a soda can, and it makes a huge noise, you're sort of like holding your breath, and you're thinking, oh shit, that's it, they're done for now. And not many movies do that. Not many movies sort of grasp you in that way. They sort of held you in a very intense manner, which, as I said, not many movies do that. So I have to say, World War Z is an amazing film. I would give it 9.5 out of 10, right? The large part which really pissed me off was I went to see it in 3D, right? So I paid £9, right? Well, a little bit cheaper because they had a little discount card, but I wasn't aware that I was watching it in 3D. There was one scene, sorry, I just hit my mic there. There was one scene where a zombie fell, right? And it came quite close. It looked like it sort of landed close to me, but that was it. I was not aware of any 3D. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, the characters may have been out a bit, but I mean, when I went to see The Hobbit in 3D, there were so many scenes where it was just jumping out at me. So I don't understand why they couldn't with a film that's come out a year later. Well, not a year later, about 6 months later. So if I was to advise you guys, I would definitely go see this film in the cinema because it's great on the big screen. But if you have a lot of money, then sure, go see the 3D. But just, don't blame me when you're disappointed. So I would just go and see the 2D version. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go see this movie again, as I loved it. But yeah, guys, tell me what you think of the movie. And yeah, so that is it. As I said, 9.5 out of 10 from me. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you later.